Swiss haven. Car-free, mountains reign, time stands still. Welcome to Zermatt, a mountain village like no other, cradled beneath the world's most photographed peak, the Matterhorn. Whether you're a thrill seeker, a romantic, or simply someone craving serenity at 600 meters above sea level, Zermatt is more than just a destination. It's an experience timeless, majestic, and breathtaking. Zermatt isn't accessible by car. That's right, gasoline-powered vehicles are not allowed inside this iconic village. Instead, you hop on a train from the town of Tesch, and soon, you're gliding into a world of pure air, cobbled streets, and quiet elegance. The first thing you'll see? The Matterhorn. Its jagged summit pierces the sky like a monument carved by the gods themselves. This legendary mountain, rising 478 meters high, has captivated adventurers and photographers for centuries. It's not just a landmark, it's the very heart of Zermatt. But Zermatt is more than a postcard-perfect view. It's one of Switzerland's top destinations for skiing, mountaineering, and hiking. In winter, over 360 kilometers of well-groomed slopes attract skiers from all around the globe. And if you think the thrill ends when... Don't miss the Gornergrat Railway, Europe's highest open-air cogwheel train. It climbs up to 389 meters in under 40 minutes. At the top, you're met with a sweeping panorama of 29 alpine peaks rising above 40 meters, including the majestic Monte Rosa and, of course, the Matterhorn. It's the kind of view that reminds you how small we are and how beautiful the world can be. Now, imagine dining while watching the sun dip behind a glacier. Zermatt offers world-class restaurants and traditional mountain huts, where Swiss cuisine takes on new meaning. Think cheese fondue with a view, or raclette served beside a roaring fire after a long day of adventure. Every meal here feels earned, every bite more delicious against the crisp alpine air. And if you're not into sports, Zermatt doesn't rush you. You can stroll along the Mattervispa River, visit charming boutiques, explore the Matterhorn Museum, or unwind at luxurious alpine spas. The rhythm of life here is slow, deliberate, and utterly rejuvenating. When night falls, the stars emerge like diamonds scattered across velvet. With minimal light pollution, Zermatt becomes one of the best places in Switzerland for stargazing. It's no surprise that artists, poets, and dreamers have found inspiration under these skies. So why does Zermatt hold such a special place in the hearts of travelers? Because it offers more than just scenery, it offers perspective. In this car-free haven, where glaciers gleam and mountains whisper ancient secrets, you're reminded of the raw, untouched beauty of the earth. You don't just visit Zermatt. You feel it. You breathe it in. You carry it with you. Coming up next, we head to a place where turquoise lakes mirror snow-capped peaks, and every frame looks like a painting. Stay with us as we journey to the next gem in Switzerland's crown. Have you ever imagined standing between two crystal-clear lakes while snow-capped giants tower above you in every direction? Welcome to Interlaken, the beating heart of adventure in Switzerland, and the gateway to the majestic Jungfrau region. If Zermatt is where time slows down, Interlaken is where it speeds up, offering adrenaline, beauty, and breathtaking landscapes in every direction. Tucked between Lake Thun and Lake Brians, Interlaken lives up to its name, Between the Lakes. But it's more than a picturesque location. It's a launchpad into some of the most thrilling and awe-inspiring experiences the Swiss Alps have to offer. Whether you're paragliding from the sky, cruising across turquoise waters, or scaling mountain trails that kiss the clouds, Interlaken is pure energy wrapped in alpine elegance. One of the main draws of Interlaken is its proximity to the iconic trio, Eiger, Munch, and Jungfrau. These towering peaks dominate the horizon and form the gateway to what many call the top of Europe. And how do you get there? By one of the most famous train rides on Earth, the Jungfrau Railway. Starting from Interlaken, the journey ascends through charming villages like Lauterbrunnen and Wingen, climbs through tunnels carved inside the mountains, and ends at the Jungfrau Hoch, the highest railway station in Europe, sitting at a staggering 454 meters above sea level. Up there, it's like another world. You step out onto the Aletsch Glacier, the longest glacier in the Alps, stretching out for 23 kilometers. The air is thin, the silence profound, and the view? Nothing short of surreal. You're literally on top of Europe, surrounded by snow, ice, and sky. Back in Interlaken, adrenaline junkies can get their fix. This town is often referred to as the adventure capital of Switzerland, and for good reason. Skydiving over the Alps, canyoning through mountain gorges, whitewater rafting down alpine rivers, or simply soaring high above the valley on a tandem paraglide flight, this place is not for the faint-hearted. But if you crave a rush, Interlaken delivers like nowhere else. For those who prefer a slower pace, Interlaken still enchants. Take a stroll along Hohemat Park, where paragliders float down like confetti against the backdrop of the snow-covered Jungfrau. Visit the charming old town of Unterseen, or hop on a boat cruise across Lake Thun or Lake Brians. These lakes, colored in vibrant shades of turquoise and blue thanks to glacial runoff, offer peaceful views and access to hidden gems like the Giesbach waterfalls and historic lakeside castles. Speaking of castles, don't miss Oberhofen Castle on Lake Thun. It's straight out of a fairy tale, complete with a turreted tower rising from the lake, surrounded by manicured gardens and medieval architecture. A short drive from Interlaken. This gem gives you a glimpse into Switzerland's romantic past. And then there's Lauterbrunnen Valley, just 20 minutes away but worlds apart. Imagine a U-shaped valley, lined with sheer cliffs, dotted with 72 waterfalls cascading from dizzying heights. Staubach Falls, the tallest free-falling waterfall in Switzerland, plunges nearly 300 meters down, misting the air and painting rainbows in the sunlight. This valley inspired Tolkien's Rivendell, and it's not hard to see why. As the sun sets behind the mountains and the alpine glow paints the peaks in gold and rose, Interlaken transforms. The sky darkens, the town lights flicker, and the lakes shimmer under the stars. The energy may slow, but the magic doesn't fade. Interlaken isn't just a destination, it's a feeling. A rush of air beneath a paraglider's wing, the chill of glacier wind on your face, the thunder of a waterfall echoing through a valley. It's where nature invites you to play, to wonder, and to dream. Next, we journey to a city where history meets modernity, where medieval walls surround a sapphire lake, and painted buildings tell centuries of stories. Stay with us as we explore the timeless charm of Lucerne. What if you could walk across a medieval bridge, gaze at a glacial lake, and take a cable car straight into the clouds all in one day? That's the magic of Lucerne, Switzerland's most charming city, where history, nature, and legend intertwine beneath the watchful shadow of Mount Pilatus. It's no wonder Lucerne often tops the list for first-time visitors and leaves a lasting impression long after. Lucerne sits on the shores of Lake Lucerne, surrounded by snow-dusted peaks and wrapped in centuries-old charm. But this city doesn't just look good, it feels good. It welcomes you with cobbled streets, storybook buildings, and the soothing rhythm of boats gliding across the lake. The air smells of roasted chestnuts and fresh mountain breeze. And wherever you turn, beauty stares right back at you. Start your exploration with the Kapellbrücke, the Chapel Bridge, Lucerne's most iconic symbol. Built in the 14th century, it's the oldest surviving truss bridge in Europe. As you walk across its wooden planks, you'll pass beneath a series of 17th century paintings, each depicting scenes from Lucerne's fascinating past. At its center stands the octagonal water tower, once used as a prison and treasury, now an unforgettable photo spot. Just a few steps away lies the Old Town Altstadt, a maze of pastel-colored buildings, each decorated with frescoes that seem to bring the walls to life. Here, time slows down. You can sip coffee at a cafe facing the Reuss River, shop for authentic Swiss watches, or simply lose yourself among hidden alleyways that whisper medieval secrets. Then there's the Lion Monument, one of the most moving sculptures in Europe. Carved into natural rock, the dying lion commemorates Swiss guards who were killed during the French Revolution. Mark Twain once called it the most mournful and moving piece of stone in the world. Stand before it, and you'll understand why. But Lucerne's magic doesn't stop at street level. it climbs high into the sky. Look up, and you'll see Mount Pilatus, towering at 128 meters. Its jagged silhouette often wrapped in mist and legend. According to local folklore, dragons once lived on its slopes. Today, the only thing flying here are the gondolas and your sense of wonder. To reach the summit of Pilatus, you have two unforgettable options. The first is the Pilatus Railway, the steepest cogwheel train in the world, with gradients up to 48%. The ride takes you through meadows, forests, and cliffs so steep they feel impossible. The second route is the Panorama Gondola and Aerial Cableway, a smoother ascent with views stretching far beyond Lake Lucerne. At the top, the world unfolds before you. The view from Pilatus is panoramic perfection: glaciers, valleys, and over 70 alpine peaks on a clear day. There's a hotel up here, a restaurant, and even walking trails where you can watch paragliders take off like birds into the wind. And if you crave a little more thrill, descend by the Pilatus Rope Park or take a toboggan ride, the longest summer toboggan run in Switzerland. It's adventure, scenery, and heritage wrapped into one unforgettable experience. Back in Lucerne, the lake invites you once more. Take a paddle steamer cruise across its deep blue waters. As the boat cuts through mirrored reflections of the Alps, you'll pass charming villages, steep cliffs, and untouched forests. Every view from the deck feels like it was designed by an artist. As dusk falls, Lucerne glows golden. Lights twinkle in windows, the lake turns silver, and church bells echo softly in the background. Whether you're dining on Swiss Rusty by the riverside or walking beneath the moonlit bridge, Lucerne becomes a city of poetry, a place where every moment feels like a memory in the making. Lucerne isn't just a stop on your journey. It's a chapter you'll replay in your mind long after you've left. A city where legends live, mountains speak, and every street leads to something beautiful. Coming up next, we'll take you to a region where Italian charm blends with Swiss elegance and palm trees sway beside alpine peaks. Don't miss our next stop, Lugano, and the Italian-speaking Ticino. Imagine sipping an espresso at a lakeside cafe while the sun warms your skin. Palm trees sway gently in the breeze, and snow-capped peaks shimmer in the distance. Sounds like Italy, right? But this isn't Milan or Lake Como, it's Lugano, the jewel of Switzerland's Italian-speaking Ticino region. Welcome to the southern side of Switzerland, where Mediterranean flair meets alpine grace in a seamless, sun-drenched embrace. Lugano is different. Here, the language is Italian, the architecture is neoclassical, and the pace of life is slower, more sensual. Yet, you're still in Switzerland, surrounded by pristine lakes, orderly streets, and that unmistakable sense of refinement. It's this blend that gives Lugano its magic, like stepping into a painting that knows how to dance. Start your journey along the shimmering shores of Lake Lugano, a glacial lake so calm and reflective it seems to blur the line between sky and water. The city stretches along its banks, with promenades lined by gardens, sculptures, and historic villas. The Parco Chiani, a lakeside park right in the city center, is a peaceful oasis where you can relax beneath centuries-old trees or stroll past flower beds that burst with color from spring through autumn. But Lugano isn't just about views, it's about culture. Visit the LAC Lugano Arte e Cultura, a modern cultural center that houses theater, music, and art under one sleek, minimalist roof. It's a testament to the city's evolving creative identity. And for lovers of the classics, there's Santa Maria degli Angioli, a modest church hiding one of Switzerland's most breathtaking frescoes, Bernardino Luini's Renaissance masterpiece that stretches across an entire wall. Of course, no trip to Lugano is complete without going higher. Towering above the lake are two iconic peaks, Monte Bray and Monte San Salvatore. Take the funicular to the top of Monte Bray, often called the sunniest mountain in Switzerland. From here, you'll get panoramic views of the city, the lake, and the distant Italian border. On the other side, Monte San Salvatore offers an equally dazzling perspective, with hiking trails and picnic spots that make you want to stay all day. But Ticino's charm doesn't stop in Lugano. It stretches across an entire region rich with surprises. Just an hour's drive north, you'll find Bellinzona, a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its trio of medieval castles. These fortresses, Castelgrande, Montebello, and Sasso Corbaro, are some of the best preserved in Switzerland. Walking their ancient walls feels like stepping back in time, with sweeping views over the valley and tiled rooftops below. And then there's Locarno, a lakeside town that perfectly blends Italian passion with Swiss precision. Stroll along the palm-lined lakefront, explore the charming Piazza Grande, or take the cable car up to Madonna del Sasso, a sanctuary perched high on a rocky cliff. It's one of Ticino's most spiritual places, offering both tranquility and cinematic views. If you're visiting in summer, don't miss the Locarno Film Festival, one of Europe's most prestigious open-air film events. The square transforms into a massive outdoor cinema, where movie lovers gather under the stars, surrounded by the warm buzz of local life. Ticino also seduces with its food. The region is home to grottos, rustic, family-run taverns tucked into the hillsides. Here, you'll feast on risotto, polenta, fresh lakefish, and local merlot served in tiny carafes. The food is hearty, honest, and filled with flavor passed down through generations. It's not just a meal, it's a conversation, a tradition, and a memory all rolled into one. And let's not forget the Verzasca Valley, one of the region's hidden treasures. Drive through winding mountain roads, and you'll find emerald rivers, arched stone bridges like the famous Ponte dei Salti, and villages made of granite where life hasn't changed much in 100 years. The water here is so clear, it feels unreal, perfect for a cold swim on a hot day or simply soaking in the silence. So what makes Lugano and Ticino so unforgettable? It's the fusion. The elegance of Switzerland with the soul of Italy. The serenity of the Alps with the fire of the Mediterranean. It's a place where you don't just visit, you unwind, you indulge, and you fall in love a little more with every sunset. Next, we travel to a destination known for glamour, glitz, and alpine sophistication. Get ready to explore the legendary playground of the rich and famous St. Moritz. What if your next destination wasn't just beautiful, it was iconic? Where Olympic history, world-class skiing, frozen lakes, and five-star elegance collide in a single alpine masterpiece? Welcome to St. Moritz, Switzerland's most glamorous resort town, perched in the heart of the legendary Engadin Valley. This is where winter was reinvented, where celebrities and royals rub shoulders, and where even the snow sparkles just a little more. But here's the truth, St. Moritz isn't just for the elite. Sure, it oozes luxury, but beneath the designer boutiques and champagne bars is a soul that anyone can feel, an energy shaped by dramatic landscapes, vibrant seasons, and a pioneering spirit that transformed a sleepy mountain village into one of the world's most famous alpine escapes. Let's start with the setting. St. Moritz sits at an altitude of 1,856 meters, surrounded by high peaks and mirrored by Lake St. Moritz, which freezes over in winter and becomes a stage for everything from horse racing to cricket matches on ice. Yes, you heard that right. The White Turf Horse Race is one of the town's signature events, held on the frozen lake every February. It's a scene out of a movie, thoroughbreds galloping across the snow, watched by fur-clad spectators sipping champagne. But don't let the glamour fool you. St. Moritz is also a skier's paradise. The region boasts over 350 kilometers of ski runs, some of the finest in the world. The Corviglia area offers perfectly groomed slopes and panoramic views that stretch all the way to Italy. And for thrill seekers, there's the Cresta Run, a legendary ice toboggan track where riders race headfirst at speeds that make your heart skip a beat. Yet, St. Moritz isn't just a winter wonderland. Summer here is equally magical. The Engadin Valley transforms into a high-altitude paradise of turquoise lakes, wildflower meadows, and sun-drenched trails. Hikers, mountain bikers, and nature lovers will find over 500 kilometers of marked paths through one of the most stunning landscapes in Switzerland. The air is crisp, the light is golden, and the scenery feels untouched by time. Looking for something more serene? Take the Bernina Express, a UNESCO World Heritage Railway journey that departs from St. Moritz and winds its way through the Alps to Tirano, Italy. The ride is nothing short of epic spiral viaducts, glacial valleys, and panoramic views that feel like pages from a fairy tale. Back in town, indulge your senses. St. Moritz is home to some of the finest hotels and spas in Europe. Try the Badritz Palace Hotel, a 19th century masterpiece overlooking the lake, or the Culm Hotel, where the Olympic spirit still lingers. Many of these resorts offer state-of-the-art wellness facilities with thermal pools, alpine treatments, and views that calm the soul. For foodies, St. Moritz is a dream. Whether you're dining at a Michelin-starred restaurant or a cozy mountain hut, the cuisine here celebrates Swiss tradition with a modern twist. Don't miss the Engadina Nustorte, a caramelized nut tart that's become a local icon. Pair it with an espresso in a sunlit cafe, and you'll understand why people come here for more than just snow. Culture lovers, take note. St. Moritz has a deep history. It's hosted 2 Winter Olympic Games in 1928 and 1948, and remains a hub for international sporting events and cultural festivals. The Segantini Museum, dedicated to the 19th century painter Giovanni Segantini, showcases stunning works inspired by the surrounding mountains, and it's perched high enough to offer views as breathtaking as the art inside. So what makes St. Moritz truly unforgettable? It's the contrast. Wild beauty meets polished sophistication. Ancient glaciers cradle modern luxury, and every corner from the slopes to the lake to the quiet alpine villages nearby reminds you that you're somewhere extraordinary. As the sun sets behind the mountains and lights reflect off the frozen lake, St. Moritz becomes a dream, a place where winter's chill feels warm, where elegance and nature share the same space, and where every moment feels like a scene from a classic film. Next, we head to a city where diplomacy meets tradition, where the world gathers, yet time slows. Stay with us as we explore the international charm of Geneva. What if you could visit a place where decisions that shape the future of humanity are made beneath snow-capped mountains, beside a peaceful lake, in a city that speaks every language? Welcome to Geneva, Switzerland's most international city. Known as the capital of peace, Geneva is more than a diplomatic hub. It's a fusion of elegance, intellect, and tranquility, where global influence meets natural beauty. At first glance, Geneva feels poised and polished. Luxury watch boutiques, art galleries, and embassies line its stately boulevards. But look closer, and you'll find that this city pulses with history, diversity, and the quiet confidence of a place that has seen the world and helped shape it. Start your visit at Lake Geneva, or Lac Léman, one of the largest freshwater lakes in Europe. Its glistening waters stretch into the horizon, shared by both Switzerland and France. Along its shores, the Jet d'Eau, Geneva's iconic water fountain, shoots a 140-meter plume of water into the sky. It's not just a symbol of the city, it's a visual exclamation mark against the calmness of the lake, reminding you that Geneva is never just ordinary. Walk along the lakeside promenade and you'll discover Geneva's soul in motion. People from every background strolling, biking, relaxing under chestnut trees. The city speaks over 140 languages, and in a single afternoon, you might overhear conversations in French, English, Arabic, Mandarin, and Russian, all flowing together like the Rhone River that begins here. One of Geneva's most powerful destinations is the Palace of Nations, the European headquarters of the United Nations. Standing before this grand building, surrounded by the flags of the world, you feel the weight of diplomacy, of global cooperation. Just outside is the Broken Chair Monument, a 12-meter tall wooden sculpture that reminds the world of the victims of landmines and the ongoing struggle for peace. It's a sobering, humbling experience, and one that defines Geneva's unique role on the world stage. For science and space enthusiasts, Geneva is also home to CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. This is where the mysteries of the universe are being unlocked, with the Large Hadron Collider, the world's largest and most powerful particle accelerator, sits in a 27-kilometer tunnel beneath your feet. If you're curious about black holes, the Big Bang, or dark matter, this is where the future begins. But Geneva isn't all politics and physics. It's also rich in art, nature, and tradition. Visit the Old Town, a maze of cobbled alleys and quiet courtyards. Here you'll find Saint Pierre Cathedral, where John Calvin once preached, and beneath it, archaeological ruins dating back to Roman times. Climb the cathedral tower for a stunning panoramic view of the city, lake, and mountains beyond. Wander through Place du Bourg de Fort, Geneva's oldest square, now lined with cozy cafes, antique shops, and patisseries where time seems to pause. Grab a buttery croissant, sip an espresso, and feel the centuries hum softly beneath your feet. Need a moment of stillness? Head to the Parc des Bastions, where giant chessboards invite locals to test their strategy under the trees. Walk past the Reformation Wall, an immense stone monument honoring Geneva's role in the Protestant Reformation, with statues of Calvin and other reformers etched into its side. Geneva also dazzles with its museums. The Patek Philippe Museum showcases centuries of intricate watchmaking, while the Museum of Art and History offers everything from ancient armor to impressionist paintings. Whether your interest is in time, art, or humanity's evolution, Geneva provides a front-row seat. And when it's time to dine, Geneva blends French finesse with global flavors. From lakeside fine dining to cozy fondue restaurants in the Old Town, the city serves sophistication on every plate. Don't leave without trying filets de perche, a delicacy of lake perch fillet served with lemon and buttery herbs. Simple, elegant, unforgettable. As the sun sets behind the Alps and the lights of the Quai de Mont Blanc shimmer across the lake, Geneva reveals its final charm, its quiet dignity. It doesn't shout to be seen. It doesn't try to impress. Instead, it leads, it listens, and it invites you into a world where peace, knowledge, and nature exist side by side. Next, we escape to a region straight out of a storybook, where terraced vineyards cascade down to a crystal lake, and every view could be a painting. Don't miss our next stop, Montreux, the Lavaux Vineyards. What if I told you there's a place in Switzerland where the mountains meet the vines, where jazz melodies float through the air, and where every sunset feels like the final scene in a romantic film? Welcome to Montreux, a jewel on the shores of Lake Geneva, and the gateway to one of the most enchanting wine regions in all of Europe, the Lavaux Vineyards. This isn't just a destination, it's a mood, a rhythm, a slower, softer heartbeat in the midst of the Swiss Alps. Let's start in Montreux. Nestled between the lake and the towering Rocher de Naye mountain, this resort town feels like it was built for beauty. Its lakeside promenade, lined with palm trees and bursts of color from flower beds, runs for miles, offering perfect views in every direction. Stroll along it, and you'll see sculptures, cafes, grand Belle Epoque hotels, and artists capturing the light as it dances on the water. But Montreux is more than a pretty face, it's got soul. Every summer, it hosts the world-famous Montreux Jazz Festival, attracting legends like Miles Davis, Aretha Franklin, and even Prince. For 2 weeks in July, the town comes alive with music, energy, and creativity. Even if you visit outside of festival season, the spirit of jazz lingers here in the murals, in the clubs, and in the gentle rhythm of life. One of Montreux's most iconic sites is Chillon Castle, a storybook fortress perched on a rocky island just a short walk from town. With origins dating back to the 12th century, Chillon has served as a residence, a prison, and a muse for writers like Lord Byron. Step inside its medieval halls, cross drawbridges, and climb towers that offer sweeping views over the lake. It's one of the most visited historic buildings in Switzerland, and it's easy to see why it's like stepping into a fairy tale. Now, venture just a bit further and you'll find yourself in the Lavaux Vineyards, a UNESCO World Heritage Site unlike anything else in the country. These terraced vineyards stretch for 30 kilometers along the northern shores of Lake Geneva, carved into the steep hillsides like emerald staircases. They've been cultivated for over 800 years, originally by monks who recognized the value of the sun-soaked slopes. The scenery here is surreal rows of vines cascading down to the glittering lake, dotted with stone walls, centuries-old wine cellars, and charming villages like Cully, Ephesus, and Saint Sapphirine. The views alone are worth the trip, but the wine? That's the heart of the experience. Lavaux is famous for its white wine made from the Chasselas grape, a crisp, mineral-rich variety that pairs perfectly with lake, fish, cheese, and alpine air. Many vineyards offer tastings right on site, often with panoramic terraces overlooking the water. It's the kind of moment that doesn't just satisfy the senses, it engraves itself in your memory. You don't need a car to explore Lavaux. In fact, walking is part of the charm. Well-marked hiking trails weave through the vineyards, connecting towns and wineries. You'll pass locals working the vines, friendly dogs napping in doorways, and breathtaking viewpoints where time feels like it stands still. If walking isn't your style, hop on the Lavaux Panoramic Train, a scenic ride that winds through the vineyards with glass-roof carriages made for soaking in the sights. Back in Montreux, as the day winds down, the atmosphere becomes almost cinematic. The sun dips behind the Alps, casting gold and rose over the lake. Lights begin to sparkle on the promenade, and whether you're sipping wine on a hotel balcony, enjoying fondue at a lakeside restaurant, or just listening to the lapping water in silence, you feel it. That unmistakable, undeniable sense of peace. So why do travelers fall in love with Montreux and Lavaux? Because together they offer a rare balance of beauty and culture, of tradition and taste. It's not about rushing from site to site. It's about slowing down, breathing deeply, and letting the world soften around you. Next, we head to a region where nature is raw, wild, an untouched home to thunderous waterfalls, dramatic cliffs, and the very heart of the Swiss Alps. Join us as we journey to the mythical valley of Lauterbrunnen and the peaks of Grindelwald. What if I told you there's a place where two crystal-clear lakes meet, nestled between towering alpine giants, and where every direction leads to adventure? A place where paragliders fill the sky, and trains climb straight into glaciers. That place is Interlaken, a scenic, adrenaline-pumping jewel that turns your travel dreams into reality. And once you experience it, you'll never look at nature or adventure the same way again. Located in the heart of the Bernese Oberland, Interlaken is literally translated as between the lakes, referring to Lake Thun and Lake Brienz. This town, while charming on its own, serves as the gateway to some of the most breathtaking mountain excursions in all of Europe. Think of it not as a destination, but as the ultimate launching pad for the kind of Swiss adventures that live in your imagination. Let's start with the view. From Interlaken, you are perfectly positioned to see the towering trio of the Eiger, Monk, and Jungfrau mountains. These snow-covered giants dominate the skyline and are accessible via some of the world's most scenic trains. The Jungfraujoch Railway, famously dubbed the top of Europe, carries you over glaciers and through tunnels bored into the mountains themselves until you arrive at the highest train station on the continent. The views from the top are surreal, vast snowfields stretching to the horizon and observation decks perched like eagles' nests on the edge of eternity. For thrill seekers, Interlaken is pure adrenaline. It's the paragliding capital of Europe, with dozens of gliders drifting silently across the valley every afternoon. Soar over lakes, forests, and rooftops with the wind in your face and the Alps at your feet. And if you're feeling bolder, try skydiving, canyoning, bungee jumping from high bridges, or ice climbing in winter. Interlaken is where nature dares you and rewards you. But it's not just for the daredevils. Families, couples, and solo travelers will find endless beauty in the peaceful boat rides on Lakes Thun and Brienz. Both lakes are glacially fed, giving them a brilliant turquoise hue. On-board paddle steamers or modern ferries, you can glide past medieval castles, cascading waterfalls, and storybook villages like Spies or Iseltwald. Every shoreline feels like a painting. If you prefer to keep your feet on the ground, the hiking trails around Interlaken are some of the most varied and rewarding in the country. Choose a gentle walk through flower-filled meadows, or take on a high-altitude trek along the Hardergrat Ridge for sweeping vistas and unforgettable photo ops. In winter, The nearby slopes turn into ski havens, including resorts like Grindelwald and Lauterbrunnen, each easily accessible from Interlaken. Speaking of Lauterbrunnen, no trip to Interlaken is complete without a day trip to this neighboring valley, often described as the most beautiful in the world. With its 72 waterfalls, sheer cliffs, and charming chalets, it looks like a real-life Rivendell from a Tolkien fantasy. Staubach Falls, one of Europe's highest free-falling waterfalls, tumbles from a height of nearly 300 meters and greets you as you enter the valley. It's no surprise that both J.R.R. Tolkien and Johann Goethe drew inspiration from this area. Interlaken also charms with its culture. Traditional wooden Swiss chalets, friendly locals in dirndls and alpine hats, and folk festivals full of alphorns and yodeling immerse you in a culture that's both authentic and proud. Don't miss the chance to try fondue in a rustic mountain restaurant or sample locally made chocolate that melts in your mouth with every bite. And when the sun sets, Interlaken doesn't sleep. The town is buzzing with cozy pubs, rooftop cocktail lounges with mountain views, and even casinos for those feeling lucky. Travelers from every corner of the globe gather here, sharing stories of their day's adventures and forging unforgettable memories. So whether you're chasing thrills, exploring nature, or simply soaking up serenity, Interlaken offers it all in one postcard-perfect place. It's not just a stop, it's a feeling. And once you've been, a part of you will always want to return. Because Interlaken isn't just the heart of the Alps, it's the heartbeat of adventure. What if I told you there's a place in Switzerland where time seems to slow down, where the Alps kiss the shores of a serene lake, and where music fills the air every summer? Welcome to Montreux, one of Switzerland's most elegant, enchanting, and culturally rich destinations. Nestled between Lake Geneva and the dramatic peaks of the Vaude Alps, Montreux is not just a scenic resort town, it's a symphony of natural beauty, history, and world-famous culture. Montreux is most known globally for the Montreux Jazz Festival, held every July since 1967. But don't let the name fool you, this isn't just for jazz lovers. The festival has hosted legends like Freddie Mercury, Prince, and David Bowie, transforming the town into a mecca for music fans across all genres. Strolling along the lakeside promenade during festival season feels like walking through a living soundtrack, where every corner has a story, a rhythm, a beat that resonates with your soul. But Montreux's magic doesn't begin and end with music. One of its most iconic landmarks is Château de Chillon, a fairy tale castle set on a rocky islet in Lake Geneva. Dating back to the 12th century, this fortress once guarded strategic routes through the Alps. Today, you can wander through its ancient halls, dungeons, and courtyards, all while soaking in panoramic views of the lake and mountains. It's one of the most photographed historic sites in Switzerland, and for good reason. With its medieval architecture and stunning backdrop, it feels like stepping into a storybook. Montreux's location along the so-called Swiss Riviera gives it a Mediterranean flair. Palm trees line the waterfront, cafes spill onto terraces, and flower-filled gardens stretch along the promenade. The entire atmosphere is relaxed and luxurious, ideal for leisurely boat rides, lakeside lunches, or sunset strolls with the Alps glowing gold in the background. One of the town's most beloved attractions is the statue of Freddie Mercury, standing tall by the lake. Mercury famously recorded several albums at Montreux's mountain studios, and Queen fans from around the globe make the pilgrimage to pay their respects. For an even deeper dive into musical history, you can visit the Queen Studio Experience, a museum inside the original studio where you can explore memorabilia and even step into the very booth where Freddie sang. Beyond the town itself, Montreux offers incredible access to day trips and nearby attractions. The Rochers de Naye, a mountain rising nearly 20 meters above sea level, is a must-visit. A cogwheel train takes you from Montreux to the summit, offering breathtaking views of Lake Geneva and the surrounding peaks. In winter, it becomes a cozy ski resort. In summer, it's ideal for hiking and marmot spotting. Another unforgettable experience is the Golden Pass Line, a panoramic train route that starts in Montreux and winds its way through Gstaad and beyond. With massive glass windows, This train offers a front row seat to some of Switzerland's most jaw-dropping scenery. Think green valleys, alpine meadows, and majestic peaks all rolling past like a living postcard. Montreux is also a gateway to Switzerland's wine region. The nearby Lavaux Vineyards, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a patchwork of terraced vines stretching down to the lake. Wine tasting tours here are a sensory delight. Imagine sipping crisp Chasselas wine while gazing at shimmering waters and snow-capped mountains. When it comes to food, Montreux doesn't disappoint. The town boasts an impressive culinary scene, from fine dining restaurants to cozy lakefront bistros. Try local specialties like filet de perche Lake Perche filet, or indulge in a creamy Swiss fondue at a rustic alpine chalet. The flavors here are as rich and refined as the scenery. In every season, Montreux shines. Spring brings blossoming gardens and lively terraces. Summer erupts in music and light. Autumn paints the vineyards in gold and crimson. Winter cloaks the Alps in snow, and the Christmas market transforms the lakeside into a magical wonderland. Montreux is more than just a destination, it's a feeling. It's the quiet peace of a lakeside dawn, the electric energy of a live performance echoing into the night. The sense that here, between mountain and lake, you can truly breathe. Whether you come for the history, the views, the wine, or the music, one thing is certain. Montreux will leave a lasting note in your heart. Imagine waking up to a lake so still it mirrors the sky, surrounded by sun-drenched mountains and streets humming with Mediterranean charm. This isn't Italy, but it feels like it. Welcome to Lugano, Switzerland's southern gem, where palm trees line cobbled walkways and gelato is just as common as chocolate. It's a city that defies Swiss stereotypes, blending precision with passion and sophistication with soul. If you thought you knew Switzerland, Lugano will surprise you. Nestled in the Italian-speaking canton of Ticino, Lugano is often called the Monte Carlo of Switzerland, but with a distinctly relaxed, authentic vibe. The city wraps around Lake Lugano, a sapphire blue expanse framed by lush hills, and offers visitors the kind of beauty that lingers long after the trip ends. It's not just about sightseeing here, it's about soaking in a lifestyle. Start your journey along the lakeside promenade, where art blends into nature. Sculptures line the path, floral gardens bloom year-round, and the view across the lake is simply mesmerizing. It's the perfect place for a leisurely stroll or a romantic sunset moment. As you walk, you'll notice how the city pulses with an Italian energy. People laugh louder, move slower, and linger longer over meals. One of the highlights of the city is Parco Chiani, often considered one of the most beautiful parks in Switzerland. This lakeside oasis, with its towering cedars, vibrant flower beds, and ornate fountains, feels like a page out of a storybook. It's where locals read, families picnic, and travelers stop just to breathe. For a panoramic perspective, take the funicular to the top of Monte Bre or Monte San Salvatore. From these peaks, the entire Ticino region unfolds beneath you, glittering water, rolling hills, and tiny villages tucked among the trees. Hikers can follow scenic trails, while photographers will be in heaven capturing the changing light over the landscape. Lugano is also a cultural hotspot. The LAC Lugano Arte e Cultura Center stands at the forefront of the city's creative pulse, hosting world-class exhibitions, concerts, and performances. It's a place where modernity and tradition meet. From opera to avant-garde installations, LAC brings art lovers from across the globe. And let's not forget the food. Being so close to Italy, Lugano's culinary scene is irresistibly tempting. Enjoy creamy risottos, fresh pasta, truffle-infused dishes, and Ticinese specialties like polenta and braised beef. The grotty rustic, open-air restaurants tucked into the hills serve up homemade fare under leafy canopies, usually with a carafe of local Merlot to match. If shopping is your pleasure, the boutiques of Via Nasa will keep you browsing for hours. This elegant street is lined with fashion houses, jewelry stores, and artisanal shops. But venture a bit further and you'll discover local markets brimming with cheeses, wines, olives, and handmade goods, perfect souvenirs that taste like Ticino. For a truly unique experience, take a boat cruise across Lake Lugano to the charming village of Gandria. Accessible only by boat or foot, Gandria is a postcard come to life. Narrow alleys, pastel houses, and balconies overflowing with flowers. It's a place to slow down, sip espresso, and forget the rest of the world exists. Lugano is also a gateway to adventure. From canyoning in the nearby valleys to biking along panoramic routes, there's no shortage of outdoor thrills. The Sentiero del Olivo, the olive tree trail, offers a peaceful hike that winds through terraced groves and ancient stone paths, telling the story of olive cultivation in the region. What makes Lugano so unforgettable is its dual nature. It's undeniably Swiss in efficiency, cleanliness, and infrastructure. But emotionally and culturally, it's Italian through and through, warm, expressive, and welcoming. This balance makes it one of the most livable cities in Switzerland and one of the most delightful for travelers. So, if you're looking for a place where mountains meet Mediterranean flair, where luxury coexists with laid-back charm, and where every meal feels like a celebration, Lugano should be at the top of your list. It's not just a destination. It's a feeling, one that wraps around you like a warm breeze off the lake and whispers, "Stay just a little longer." Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels, and see you in the next video.